Yes, we are getting very close to the end of the uh, publishing beta version of for the public. I actually have been keeping telling myself that this box you can never completely get rid of it. It's always a moving progress. Some bugs are better leave it there for the public to check it out and then fix it. But that's one side of me. Another side of me is saying that really, really want to make it a bug free, and then before we can go into public. But anyway, I want to offer some kind of like a high level bird's eye view of what is the college dairy or a COBA is doing. Okay, the first thing that forget about this concrete detailed the things that I'm just the one to give you you know a view or like an overview like from a distance. The first thing is that in the old model, the human assessment, human selection model, HR model, whatever you call that, success achievement is a profile. In our model, in the college diary is more actually, college diary is just one platform. Behind the college diary, it's a COPA. We try to make a brand new model out of it. But before this, in our model, college diary or COPA, whatever you call it, success, achievement, it's an event. It's a story. Okay. It's also probably more importantly, it's a move in progress. It's always a work in progress. It's a never really end result. So that makes us our model is very different from current model. Why? Because current model is exactly the opposite. They emphasize in the end result. Okay, end result meaning that when you apply for college, right? All the high schoolers, their high school their exam board will send the GPAs very authentic. There's no little doubt because when the transcript from school, you can't really argue with that, right? So that's one thing. When you take this ACT, when you take a SAT, the exam board will send the most reliable, most authentic result, quantifiable result to the college. So that part, you really doesn't, you don't, the student, you don't really need to worry about. Why? Because it's useless for you to worry. It's all controlled by the institutions, by the, as third parties. So, but those parties notice that the GPAs, the test scores, everything is all about end result. What is missing the current model is like steps that leads to the end result. That we are pretty weak. Why? Because everything, the admission process, everything is designed for human eyes. Okay, we are not education can be a very conservative field because people have been doing this for years, for decades, for centuries. Very little you know uh, fundamental changes, so people are getting used to it. Even with the AI, they're still using the human naked eyes to read everything. Okay, that needs to be changed. In the future we need to use the AI to read this. Okay, and then one part of it is because once the student high schoolers, when they submit a lot of information, then right now they don't allow it. The college doesn't allow you to submit more than anything. For example, the essay has to be like 300 words or 600 words, no more than that, right? If you're more than that, you basically you're failed. But in the future, you know, we must have a system that allow you to show not just the end result, not just the profile, but the process that leads to it. That's a very important thing that is going to be, I hope that will happen. So the second thing, the other thing is that we use a very broad brush to paint a relatively complete profile of the student, each candidate. When we say broad brush, meaning that it's a multidimensional, it's longitudinal, it's continuous. Okay, so that's another thing. Right now, this current system is basically it's a straight line between start and the finish. The finish is the GPA, the finish is the test scores, and everything else is basically ignored. Why? Because human mind cannot handle that much information. Only AI will do it. So that's one thing. Instead of just a straight line, we will have the real progress will be zigzag, zigzag. We'll have a pivot point, we'll have a setback, we'll have a challenges, we'll have a success, we'll have a joy, pains, sufferings, everything. So that's a real human, you know, real human experience, real growth experience that cannot be replaced by a straight line. Okay. The other thing, final thing that I want to say is that uh, the current model it doesn't have much context. The only thing that is regarding the external world where the individual student is growing, it basically depends on the reference letter. But the reference letter is broken. We talked about this last time. So instead of using decontextualized way of seeing people, understanding people, we introduce the context in the sense of relying on the verifier. So verifier is very important. That's why we allow the verifier to have a verifier account free of charge, because they are the one very important. They are serving the achievers, also known as a student. But on the other hand, they also bring basically what do we do? Verify the job is to first it's two things basically. Number one, they observe. Okay. Number two, they explain. Of course, the explaining part can be done by the student, by the achiever themselves, because they offer their what's deep in their mind, what's deep in their heart, and then that's the explanations, right? But on the other hand, we also need external explanations and observations. That's what the verifier will do. Number one, they have to observe it, being the witness, if possible, they directly they tell the admission board and the HRs that this is what we see. Okay. The second function is that they will offer there some nuances. So the best verifier will be detail oriented. They'll offer some nuances and something that maybe the achiever may not notice or may not notice as deep as the number three thing is that to offer unique insight that is not available. So the best verifier is, just like the best educators, they have to be a good observer. They have to be good thinker. They have to be good insiders. And then to offer some unique explanations. Let's stop here.